Are we here?
We're here! It's
Yay!
finally let me switch everything. Oh, it's all the joys. Good morning, everybody. How are you? Welcome to Natasha Makes. You may hear me, you may not, because we're trying out
close
different microphones. But it does mean that I will shut up through your demo, which will make some people very happy. So good morning to you. I hope you're all well. Gosh, yesterday, velvets.
Oh, beautiful.
Yes, and you thought so too. We are down to the last little bits of the velvets, so if you are after some, we do still have stock, actually, of one of my favourites.
I'm surprised that one is still here.
Didn't do anything with it though, did I?
No, that's true.
Everything else I did something with.
I love this with the parrots.
It's just beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
And the pink. I've still got a little bit of the pink as well. And then ones and twos of the others.
Wow.
Yeah, so thank you for that. This morning's show, Jane, we are making this.
Yes.
Which is a stunner. Sometimes simplicity is just the best, isn't it?
You can have really good fun with this block because there's so many combinations to get different effects.
And also, you can make it for anybody.
Yes.
In any colourways with big prints, little prints, cardboard box.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's going to work.
Yeah, it'll work with a pattern and a plain. It'll work with two patterns, small and large scale, different colour combinations. We've got some nice kits to show you later.
All you need is 1 metre of fabric. Jane, if people have a favourite half metre heaven,
yes, if they got two.
can they just buy two?
Yes.
So you're not going to need like a great long length anyway.
No,
You
it's
can
all
just
cut
chop
from
two.
width of fabric, so you'll be all right.
Winner, winner.
Yeah.
Now, these kits, Gemma is busy loading. I've got bolt ends which have been loaded, bolt ends that will be loaded throughout the day.
Lovely.
It takes a while. So if you are after, any of these, you could pair with anything
Yes.
to make this, which is kind of why we've done it.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
It is exciting.
It is exciting.
It is exciting.
And so let's say, oh, Jane, I need your face.
Oh,
Give me a face. So that
There we go.
I can talk to
I
them, their
can't
people
see.
on Facebook.
I don't know where. Oh, here we are.
You found us.
No, that's yesterday's.
Ah,
Come on. Let's go back and go in again.
back in. Technology is all the fun, isn't it, today? We were told that we had made it live on Facebook.
It's not showing up on my...
Do I need to go in and do something?
No. I think we're here, aren't
Are
we?
we here?
Are we here?
Are we here?
Can you see us?
Are you sure we're here? Are you sure? Who knows? There we go.
All the technology. No, still not showing on mine.
Oh. Well, actually, yeah, here we go. No, that's not us. Well, where are we? This is riveting viewing.
Yes, isn't it? Everybody looking at us, scrolling around on our phones.
I don't know if everybody else can find us. I don't know that we are live on Facebook at all. I would question that.
We don't appear to
I
be
don't think we are live.
around.
Jane, if you want to start showing people, I'm going to turn you round to this. So if you would like to start showing people these.
These gorgeous bolt ends. We've got some gorgeous things here. There's so many lovely things.
These ones are loaded.
These ones are available now. This pile here will be, as we speak, Gemma's working hard and SJ's working hard to get these up. We've got some Floradora from Jan Hewitt. This is Ruby Star. Just 1 metre of that. That's called Disco Dot. And it's got a very fine metallic dot in the middle of the blue there. It's almost a rose gold, actually. I love this fabric. Nearly didn't make it to the bolt ends. I was like, do I need it in my life? Probably do now that it's gone. We've got some last little bit of the Juicy Juice eye candy quilts. That lovely, like mosaic-y one. And this is a lovely cream with the neutral colours in. This is going to be a great one for your stash. Background fabric, edging, beautiful. There's just a metre, just over 1.5 metres of that one. Eye candy, and I'm not sure of the colour, but I think it's probably cream. There's a beautiful piece of the pearl red bumbleberries here. Can you see the shimmer on that? Look at that.
Actually, you really can.
It's beautiful. That, again, Christmas projects, all of those sort of things. Absolutely wonderful. Just under 1.5 metres of that one. This is such pretty. This is the Macawa Foxwood collection, Wildflower, and this is blue on cream. Look at this. This is such a pretty fabric. Little ditzy florals with leaves and foliage.
Jane, that's only just been released.
I know.
That's the end of that bolt.
That bit of bolt, there's just over 2 metres there. If you get that for your stash, you're going to be really pleased with yourself. And there's some sparkle blender here. This is denim. Look at that with that foxwood. That looks rather lovely. This is a beautiful mottled effect blender fabric, and it's got a little bit of glitter in it. So it's got a lovely sparkle to it. They're called sparkle blenders.
But it doesn't feel rough, does it?
No,
in
it
any
doesn't.
way?
And it doesn't really come off either, because sometimes you'll get a glittery fabric and you rub your hand over it and you're covered in glitter.
Not on this one.
Not this
Not
one.
on this one.
It's been bonded on really nicely. We used this quite a bit in the block of the month last year. So this is a bit of a bolt end that's left over, and it's 1.2 metres of that. So that's a nice piece for your stash. And this is it in steel, which is a lighter, more of a grey colour. That's a bluey grey, and this is a proper grey. And there's just 3/4 of a metre of that one. Again, great for your stash. Just that little bit sometimes you need when you're doing a plique and things like that. You just need a little bit of grey sky or a bit of mountain or rocks or something like that, and that will be perfect for that. We've got some linen texture in straw, 1.3 metres of that.
It's just a good
Stash, having your stash.
neutral.
Yeah, absolutely.
And again, that's not going to break the bank. These all have a discount on.
Now this piece of batik,
Oh,
get this in your basket because this is beautiful. It's a really rich red. There's 3.2 metres on here. That's a backing. That's a quilt backing.
but it's not just red, is it? Because
No,
it's
it's
all the
got the
different tones
richness.
of red. You could tone chocolate through with that. You
Yeah.
could do all sorts with that. Just to give you an idea of how that's going to work.
Look
I
at
mean,
that.
you can see instantly how that suddenly pulls those reds through. So it's one of those handy ones.
Yeah.
Any kind of batik like this, because we go for the smaller batiks, don't we? Not
Yes.
the really big ones.
Yeah. They're
Just
beautiful
means
blenders.
That for blenders, you are winner.
Just
chicken dinner.
over 1.5 metres of this gorgeous chocolate brown. There's golds in here as well. The beauty with these batiks is it wouldn't
almost
matter where you cut it, you're going to get different effects. There's some green in here, a lovely deep sagey green, rich chocolate brown, gold colours and a bit of cream flecked in there as well.
Well, I tell you what, the last K Facet Collective fabrics that we had, the vintage range.
Yeah.
Was it the vintage? They had the lichen. Now
Yes.
they've tried to make that really reminds me of it, and that
Yes.
was the first one to sell out. Actually,
Yeah,
was the lichen
because-
fabric, because you after that kind of effect.
You get so many variations, and that's what I like about batik. It's never the same, very rarely the same place twice. You know, you've got a really good variation. These will be coming on during the day. This is Nature's Contour for Katrina. Large bloom multi. Look at
Gorgeous,
this.
isn't it? Grace is
Look
here,
at
Claire's
this.
here, Facebookers have joined us now, Martin's here, Susan's here, Joy's here.
That's
we are getting
stunning.
all of our Facebookers joining us. Martin says biscuits, Jimmy says good morning, Joe's here, and everybody is now finally finding us and joining in. Good morning, sorry for a slightly later start on Facebook this morning. It did not love us.
No, there's a nice 3.2 metres of that, Katrinka. Again, fabulous quilt backing. The back of your quilt would be as gorgeous as the front.
What I love about this is the size of it. And I think
Yeah.
if you are backing a quilt, because of the size of that print, it really lends itself to it.
You could have really good fun as well with the flowers on this. Remember the flower vase that you made and you cut all the
It's up on the
flowers
wall.
out? It's beautiful. This sort of fabric would lend itself nicely to that
Besides
project
the
as
fact
well.
there's damp coming through the wall and the wallpaper's falling off.
Oh,
If I put
dear.
something really pretty on the wall, no one will notice. Now this is one of my favourites.
This is
If
so
we're
lovely.
talking springtime, Mother's Day, all those sorts of things, then this is the one, isn't it?
Yeah. Tulips purple.
I love tulips. They're one of my
They're
favourite
gorgeous.
flowers.
They are so pretty. They are very like daffodils. They're that first flower, aren't they?
Yeah.
They make you think, oh, springs
I love
here.
the wildness that they all grow in different directions. And
Yes.
you never quite know which direction they're going to go in.
Yeah,
I
beautiful.
kind of like that. It's a bit like my daughter. There's that craziness. It's a bit like her hair, if nothing else.
Yeah, there's a good piece there. Nice piece for your stash, 1.7 metres.
Did I tell you what she told school the other day? It was at parents' evening, and they said, so Emily has started, Emily's 5, for those of you that don't know. She has started telling us that she is a strong, independent woman.
Ah, bless her.
Brilliant. And my ex-husband, who was there, piped up and went, yeah, she told me that the other day, only it was couched as, I know I'm a strong, independent woman, but please could you tie my laces? Hey, look, know your limits. There's nothing wrong in that either.
No, that's all part of being a strong, independent woman, is knowing when you need to ask help.
This is a batik.
Yes, it's
but
our...
a really discreet one.
Yeah, it's just got a very subtle shading. It's a beautiful primary red, and there's a very subtle shading. I think it's one of the salt batiks, isn't it, this one? And it's just almost like a dapple.
We have 2 types. We've only ever stocked 2 types, and that is the salt batiks, where they put the dye on and then they throw salt over, and it just changes how the dye lies.
Yeah, just shades it.
And then the others are the smoked batiks. Like that is, actually, I think that's a salt one as well. You can see where the salt has
Yeah, this
lain
is a
in there.
smoked one because it's got the SB on it. And the salt batiks have... Well, this one says it's smoked as well.
No, I think
Right.
this was one of the original ones. And it just, this is definitely a salt batik.
Yes,
this
it's
one.
almost like a dapple. It's got a lovely sort of like ripply effect to it. It's almost solid, but there's just a bit of texture to it, so it just livens it up a little
Do
bit.
you know what it means for me? Is that you don't have to have the exact colour tone. It's like
No.
you can relax. Just go,
Yeah,
okay,
because it's a subtle shading that will work with,
and
anything.
that's what you want. for
Yeah.
Any kind of blender, anything like that.
These are 2 good chunks, backing, borders, all linings, bag linings, things like that.
Or if you're doing kids things.
Yeah,
maybe
nice
you've
bright
got
colours.
some of the panels from the Very Hungry Caterpillar.
Yeah,
Then why not use these bright
nice
colours
primary colours.
that have that little bit of interest? Morning, Mabel. Nice of you to come and join us. She's been on day
Stretch.
duty this morning.
Oh, he's got so big.
He's got huge, isn't
It's
he?
gorgeous.
He was out for his walk this morning, and he's proper flat-footed though.
Yeah, it's probably waddled like a duck, really sways from side to side.
He doesn't half make some noise when he really gets some speed
Like walking
up.
around in flippers.
Yeah, and he does a sprint, and then he sits down for a rest.
Oh, bless him.
I can understand that. He's discovered
Yeah.
broccoli today. He's quite into broccoli.
Oh, nice.
Melon is his other favourite.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Lovely. This is some more of the foxwood. This is in the blue.
This is the
Dark
last
blue.
bit.
Last bit of that one as well. There is 1.8 metres of that. So if you were lucky enough to get the 2, look, you've got a lovely combination. Imagine the quilt behind with these
and
2
those two.
fabrics. Nice.
Ooh.
Pretty. That's all I'm saying.
Becky says she's so late today. Well, I mean, she says so late today. I don't know if she means her or us.
We
She's-
had technical issues as usual. This is
Oh, she
terrible.
says race week in Cheltenham, so everywhere is pandemonium around here.
Oh, gosh, yes.
The drain guy that came to help try and survey the drains this morning, he's going to Cheltenham at the weekend, and he looked at the weather and he went, don't know, I want to go in this.
No.
Alison glass. Now, I had 2 bolts of this, so I've got 2 bolt ends.
Yes.
One bigger than the other, Jane.
This one's sunlight. This is a beautiful magenta colour with this gorgeous orange and gold yellow coming
You know
through
how
it.
when you look at anything in the sun, you can't look at it straight. You get like a secondary effect.
Yes, she's
I
got...
love how she's really picked
Yeah.
that from there.
It's like looking through cathedral windows, like a rose window, isn't it? It's gorgeous.
Very, very clever.
There's just over a 1.5 metre piece, and then there's a 1.8 metre piece. Nice. Then we've got it in the purple, which is lovely and rich.
Oh, Elizabeth's been blocked from making comments on YouTube.
Oh dear.
Yeah, apparently it said it was on slow mode. I mean, we're all on slow
Yeah,
mode. you know
it's
how it
not-
means.
We're lucky we're here this morning. Oh. Then this, I love this. This is a bit of Odile.
This is the last of
Murano.
Murano. Yeah.
Just love these flowers here. This almost reminds me of the Romany caravan paintings and the canal barge paintings of flowers.
But that folk art is very
Yeah,
Odile,
I
isn't
love it.
What I love about this is that you've gone from an aqua
Yeah.
minty colour all the way through to green, and just the way that she's ombre'd that out just
It's
delights
just gorgeous.
me. Yeah.
Gorgeous. A nice 1.6 metre piece of that.
If you can't see these already, it's because these ones are being loaded. The first pile that we showed you have already been loaded. I don't know if this is going to do funny things on your screen, so we should probably... I'm going to take a step back, Jane, and see if we can get that on a close-up. If you could just hold that up.
Yeah, it's a little ditzy flower. It's Liberty fabric.
It is Liberty, and that will be on a discount.
It's a navy blue, and then it's very white, and then a very pale blue centre. It is just stunning.
Made Emily a Liberty quilt
Yeah.
out of the tumbling blocks.
Yes.
And I put it in a bag made out of this. It was my easiest half-metre tote bag.
Yeah.
And I made it out of this fabric, and I love it because it's so simple and effective.
Daisy Dot it's called,
And if you go for
from the
that
Carnaby
today,
collection.
you're not going to be paying Liberty prices for it, I can promise you that.
No, and there's a nice chunky piece of 3.4 metres, which whoever gets that in their basket is going to be
We're
very
gonna put it in.
happy.
We can't say that anymore because it upsets the chicks. Who have suddenly sprouted adult wings.
Oh, right. This is the thing, they don't say chicks for long, do they?
No, they're 3 weeks old now.
Yeah.
And they've got these great long wings. Dave still doesn't have wings.
He's got little wings, but he looks like he's walking around with his hands on his hips because they
That's
fold
okay.
back like that. So he looks like he's walking around like that, and he waddles like that. So it's really funny.
We call him Dave Zilla.
Oh yeah, because he's nearly as big as Mabel now.
I know. They're going to
He's
need a
walking
bigger
around.
bed.
Yeah.
And next to the chicks, he is massive. I mean, he's just ridiculous. And I'm really hoping that he is going to be a he. What if he turns out to be a girl?
Oh, he'll mother the chick something rotten, won't he?
He's not doing a great job.
No.
They do kind of try and snuggle in, and then he stands on them. You can't help it.
Yeah, he's got big feet.
He does have big feet. That's what happens. Another salt batik, Jane.
This is a gorgeous pink. Pink. You can't say any other word for it. It is pink. It's beautiful. Look at it. All that marbling on there.
All the pinks in it.
Yeah, it goes
And the
from really
depth.
pale, delicate, through to this really deep raspberry colour.
Do you know what that would go beautifully with? And that is Lisa Chandler's. I'm just seeing what I've got that I can show you with. I've got a lampshade. Hang on.
1.15 metres. Ooh, steady. Don't.
If you've got any of the Lisa Chandler,
Side. Oh yeah. Look at that. The greys and the pinks.
pretty, isn't it?
It's lovely. It's the right shade. Because it's mottled, it picks up all the shading in there.
Just saying. Hashtag just saying.
Just saying. We've got another lovely red here. This has got a bit more dappling to it. So again, lovely shading.
It's a smaller piece.
It's a smaller piece. It's a 1.10 metre piece. Now this is the Andover. This is part of the Alison Glass collection, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sketchy.
Again, right, Jane,
Let's see if we can go.
Let's go closety, uppity.
Can you see it?
It's
We've got little carol singers. We've
But
got a
you've also
garden
got
trellis.
butterflies.
There's butterflies and flowers. There's leaping horses. It's almost like she's printed off her sketchbook of ideas. You know, there's a little bit of flowers. There's a little bit of pathway ribbons, all sorts of things. There's a beautiful butterfly there.
Do you know what? This would be really beautiful for this quilt today.
Yeah, it would.
Just to have a little bit of interest in in one of the plainer ones.
Yeah, you could match that with some really pretty fabrics. You know, I was thinking about it, the country clippings fabrics, the pretty
Yes.
ditzy florals,
Yes.
they'd lend themselves nicely to this quilt, wouldn't they?
Yes, they would.
Bumbleberries light grey, 2.8 metre piece. What can I tell you? Get it in your stash. It's always going to come in
I nearly
handy.
put that with a blue for today's show, but I've
Yeah.
only been able to make 2 kits.
Yeah.
So I was like, do you know what? Someone can have a nice big chunky bit. And the thing with your quilt today, Jane,
Yeah.
if they want to make it bigger,
Yeah, just make more blocks.
you just keep going.
Yeah. Yeah.
You could make that nearly 3 times the size.
there's
with that.
there's 20 blocks in there from a metre of fabric.
That's good.
Yeah, and the binding.
That's
Obviously, if you wanted to make it bigger, you could probably make a few more blocks, and you'd need extra binding.
So if you had that piece there,
Yeah,
then you could. So that's 2 meters 80.
yeah,
You
you'd probably.
match. Say you got 2 meters of a contrast fabric,
Yeah,
and then the extra 80 centimeters could bind,
yeah, absolutely.
and you'd have double the size.
You would. Yeah.
Or you get the school teachery over the glass.
This is the last. Is it the last piece of the juicy juice?
We have got a couple of the juicy juices as bolt ends. We haven't finished picking all the pick sheets yet, but just get them. They are absolutely exquisite. And again, for a quilt like this, you match that with a cream. It's going to be gorgeous. Or if you go for a deep, or even if you went for black with that,
Yeah,
it'd be really impactful.
it would look lovely.
And we've got the swirls as well in the bolt end boxes.
Yes, still there, aren't they?
So they're
yeah.
the fingerprint ones, and you put any of those with a navy,
Yeah,
and they'd look beautiful.
wonderful. 2 meters on there. Just saying, look at that with the bumbleberries.
I mean,
Nice.
yeah.
This green, I love this green. If you do a plique and you're doing garden scenes with leaves and trees, there's so much potential in there.
This was left over from one of the Lisa Chandler quilts. We got a lot of batiks in for those.
Yes.
And sometimes, because when we buy bolts, I don't know if anybody knows about buying bolts, you can order a 10 metre one, but sometimes they send you a 12 metre one, or
Yes.
they send you an 8 metre one, so you then have to buy an extra. You know,
Yes.
you never quite get what you order.
No, it's very
Ever.
rarely you actually get 10 metres.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a nice 3.2 on there.
And
It's
you know what will
really
have happened?
worth having in your stash.
They'll have sent us a smaller bolt and we'll have had to have bought a second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous. Really lovely green, that is. Bit of Halloween here. Lewis and Irene cast a spell, 2.5 metres. If you're into your Harry Potter or,
Oh my goodness.
you know, the spell books with the crows and the cauldron.
Do you know what? If you do have kids that are into
Let me
that,
turn this around the right way.
then making them school bags, making them pencil cases, covering journals for
Yeah.
them would just be the best.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it used to be that Halloween was just for October, but now because thanks to Harry Potter,
Yeah,
kids will have it all year round.
and the worst witch and all of those. There's lots of.
Well, you've got the worst witch, you've got the good witch, there are all sorts of witchy
Yeah.
witches going on.
Absolutely.
But then from the same range, and I don't know if you can see the
2.5 metres on that piece.
big old bundle. Don't know if you can see the sparkle on this, but the outline of every single one of these potion bottles, that's got bat's blood in it. That's got wolf's teeth. That's got mice brains, slug slime, toad warts. I mean, it's delightful.
Yes, it's really going to make a really good spell.
Do you know what? I don't think Freddie's seen this and actually read what's on there.
Yeah.
He would love that. But again, this is the kind of amount. This would
Has
make 2
it
bean
got
bags.
the light in the dark, light up in the dark? Has it got the UV thing on it? Because it, I don't know whether it's just metallics.
I think that one is just metallics. I
Yeah.
don't think we get them where they are glow in the dark and... Oh, no, it is!
Oh, wow.
Can you see that? Oh, that's... Well, hang on, is any of that glowing in the dark? No, that's
No.
not, but this is. The
Yeah.
labels. Oh, and the eyes. Look at
Yeah,
that.
the eyes glow.
Oh, that's a bit good, isn't it? Yeah, I take it back. I just assumed if it was metallic, it didn't have the...
Yeah,
Oh, that's a bit excellent.
that's really good fun.
That's brilliant. That's really good. You could make 2 bean bags out of that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good piece, this is, 4 metres 40.
Yeah.
So that's a really good...
I think it just
To
missed coming in time for...
Yeah, it was a bit delayed, wasn't it?
Yeah, sometimes that happens.
Well, we were having problems, weren't we, at the time with deliveries and things. Situation.
Thanks, world.
Yeah.
World situations, don't we love them? Jane, I'm going to move these out of the way for you whilst
Oh,
you
yeah.
show them today's bundles. These are 2 metres of fabric for $24.99.
Nice.
They're all the same price.
Nice bargain. We've got a lovely smoke batik here. a really rich. This is the kit. This is the kit that I've done the quilt behind us with. So it's a lovely cerise pink smoked batik, and then you probably can't see it, and I don't know even if you'll see it when we get to the close up. But it's a tone on tone white fabric, and it's got hearts on it.
Should we give it a go, Jane?
It's really pretty. I don't know if we can. Oh, you might just see it there.
I think these fabrics are incredibly popular, and we don't stock them because you can't see them.
No, we can't show them properly on the screen, which is such a shame. There we go.
It's like a maze of hearts.
Yes,
Isn't
it's really pretty. It's hearts, all different size hearts. So it may look like it's just white, but it's not. It's a tone on tone white from Macawa, with hearts, white hearts on outlines of hearts on white. So it just gives it a bit of texture. Then we've got some of the flutter in lilac, and we've teamed that with some of Lisa's gorgeous small floral in grey rose.
The grey and the purple.
Just love it. Just that shimmer on there, just really pretty. That's going to give a lovely effect. And we've got some blue linen texture, and we've put that with the silver ivory of the small floral.
And again, it just gives that little bit of interest.
Lifts it slightly, which is
you've got
really...
that linen texture there, and then a little bit of sparkle. Who doesn't want a bit of sparkle, Jane?
Yeah, we all love a bit of sparkle.
$24.99 for a bit of sparkle.
And then we've got this lovely sagey green salt batik, and we've put this with the ivory gold small floral. Again, it's just really, classic,
warm
that
one,
is. It's
isn't it?
beautiful. Really classical. Now there were some of the peacock feathers, so I just thought, oh, well, we could use those last few bits. There's not many of these ones because the bolts were there's only a few
Chris,
kits.
no, they aren't half meters. She said, are they only half meters? No, these are meter bundles. So 1 meter, 1 meter. So it's a 2 meter.
Yeah, 2 meters a
in
bundle.
total. It's a half meter. It's a meter of each. So she's got me at it now. Meter of each. So 2 meters in total for $24.99. Bearing in mind that these aren't just plains. These are all textured or designer
This
fabric.
is a Macawa linen effect, and this lovely cerise pink, and it just pulls out that pink on there. I thought that would be quite interesting to make that one, but I've gone with this one, which is the pink version of the feathers.
I love this.
And we've got some linear here, which is in midnight, almost black, but it's not. It's bluey colour with the crosshatch pattern on there. So there's a bit of texture in that. It's not plain. I'm going to demonstrate with this today.
Julia, strangely, has gone for the purple.
Really?
Yeah, funny that, isn't it? Really funny. So, guys, we've put a discount on these. These are all a fabulous, fabulous price.
There is a very limited of that one. There's not much because we didn't actually have much of the linear when I actually came down to it. After I'd put them together and thought, oh, that's lovely. And then looked and I was like, oh.
But you think 2 meters of designer fabric should be closer to 30?
Yeah,
Really?
really,
Long,
yeah.
If not more.
Yes,
So,
particularly if we've got metallics in there.
well, you think Lisa's fabric now retails for over £8 a half metre.
Mm.
And in some of those, you've got a metre. So that would be over £16 just on that fabric.
Yeah.
Which means that you're getting the other for less than £4.50 a half metre.
Nice. Bargain.
I mean, come on. We've got some real good bargains today. Make the most of it, is what I would say to you. Jane, I'm going to go and sit down and drive the show from over there.
Cool. So these are your...
Chris, I would have been surprised if the quilt was only made from 2.5 metres. No, metres.
Yeah.
2 metres. Yeah.
Metre of each makes 20 blocks.
Yes.
And the binding.
Yeah, Jan says it's really good value. Good value. It's what we try and pride ourselves on.
Yeah.
I think because we have this conversation a lot, don't we? In that, and I get told off for not charging more for things. But I'm a crafter.
Yes.
You're a crafter.
Yeah.
And we know what we would
Want to pay. Yeah.
Versus what we should pay.
Yeah. And I think it's a little bit like the Woolworths policy, which probably isn't a good analogy, seeing as Woolworths are out of business now. But he used to be like, sell more at slightly less.
Yeah.
And gives value, but it also clears your stock so you can get more in.
Well, that's why we do
bolt ends and things.
Because we know that today or tomorrow we have got a lot of the brand new K-Facet
I
Collective
know, it's
landing.
exciting.
Now, if you are a Natasha Makes Designs member, obviously you are getting a big discount off the lot of that. It's worth considering. 10% off every purchase, you know, just take a little
Nice,
look at that.
nice,
Just
nice,
saying,
nice.
Just saying. I'm going to go and leave you to demo, Jane.
I'm going to move my phone out the way, so hopefully it'll stop bleeping while I'm doing the demo. So it's basically the same block, but you do it reverse. So the cutting for each block is the same. And you get the same amount of blocks. So you get, for this quilt, you'll get 10 of each. You get 10 of the dark and 10 of what we're calling the light. It's a very simple construction. It's a 9 patch, but instead of doing 2 squares to join together, I've made this a rectangle because I think, you know, the less seams you have to match up, the better. And it goes together quite quickly. We've got half square triangle units, and then we've got, we do a strip set for the middle section. So again, you haven't got to cut lots of individual squares, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So half square triangles, start with 2 squares, straightforward enough. 1 of each of your fabrics. Half square triangles, we always add the 7/8 of an inch to the finished size so that we get the 2 from 1 square. So the 2 squares join together, right sides together, mark your diagonal line from corner to corner. When I'm marking mine, I always start in the middle and work my way out to the corners. I always best press my fabric, flatter, starch, whatever you want to use, my fabric beforehand anyway, because we are working with a bias. But by marking from the middle outwards, you're less likely to stretch your fabric, particularly in the corners where there's less weave that can pull apart and fray. Then we're going to sew 1/4 of an inch either side of that marked line. And of course you can chain piece all of this. All the elements of this quilt can be chain piece, which adds to the fact that you can put it together really quite quickly. Again, I would say that this would be a weekend make. Quite easy for a beginner as well, if you know you're quite new to patchwork and quilting. Maybe you haven't tried half square triangles before. This is a good way of dipping your feet into doing half square triangles. So once you've got your seam sewn each side of the marked line, so 1/4 of an inch either side of that marked line, you then cut it in half along the marked line. You can cut through the line of stitching as well as you've chain pieced. There we go, just missed the end on that one. Probably time for a new blade in the rotary cutter. And we're going to press the seam on the dark side. So I always say when I'm going to, when I want the seam to go underneath the fabric, I have the fabric I want it to go underneath on the top. And we're just pressing it, set the seam in place, open up our half square triangle, gently flatten it with our fingers so that we've got it pushed all the way to the edge of the seam, put the iron on and then give it a press. We don't iron it like this. We're working with biased edges here, so by doing that you could distort your square.
Therapeutic, isn't it?
Yeah, and you can, as I say, you can do all of these chain piece and they'll come together really quite quickly.
So Jane, my question to you is, and I don't know if people can hear me because I'm over here. If you want to prep your fabric with a starch type spray like Flatter or something else.
Yeah.
Do you do it as you're pressing then, or do you do it before you even cut into your fabric?
Before I even start cutting.
Right. Thank you.
And always on the wrong side of the fabric. Just because sometimes if you're using like laundry starch, because laundry starch is just as good as any other, but sometimes that will flake. If you don't give it time to sink into the fabric, you have to give it time to just sink in, only seconds, but you'll hear, when you put spray starch on, you hear it fizz. When it stops fizzing, then you can press it. But what will happen, sometimes it flakes. So it's better to have those flakes on the wrong side of your fabric
Of course.
than on the right.
Now they would wash out. But
Yes,
at
of course.
some, but you'd then have to actually
You
wash
don't
your
get that
fabric.
with your best press or your flatter, but I always, it's a habit I've got into, I always do it on the wrong side of the fabric.
Thanks, Jane.
So you're going to have rectangles of your two colours, and they go together. And then you're going to make strip sets. Now, these would be the width of the fabric. These are my offcuts. So you're going to sew, you're going to cut your width of fabric of, you'll want 2 of your light colour and 1 of your dark. And then you'll want 2 of your dark and 1 of your light. They're the full width of the fabric, and then you cut them up into the segments. All the measurements are in the pattern, and I think the pattern might be available as digital download as well at the moment, because we were working on it this morning, Gemma and I, so I think it's ready. I'm not certain, but I think so.
Have you got a copy of it there? If you look, you know, yesterday we were talking about the ridiculous conversation we had regarding the meat hooks in the hippo's mouth on top of the piano.
Yes,
You'll see them.
yeah. The hippo is on top of the piano on the main picture of the quilt. So we're going to cut now units, and these will be the same sizes, as I say. All the sizes are within the pattern. And you'll cut your strip set up into the units. I think you can get 10 from the width of fabric. So you'll do 2 lots of sets, 2 sets. You only need 1 of each set, sorry. 1 of each set will do 10, which is enough for only 10 blocks.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
So actually you have leftovers from the meter pieces.
Yeah, you're going to have a little bit left over. You might make a couple more blocks. So if you got 2 meters of each one, then you'd have enough for probably 44 blocks.
I'm just looking at it thinking you could get some really beautiful cushions out of it.
Yeah, you could. You could put 4 blocks together and make a cushion. You could just use 1 block and add sashing to it to make a cushion that would go with the quilt, or a bag for the quilt. So it's got
For
the
gifting.
with the block on the front.
Yeah.
All those sort of things. It's really it's a really nice option. Right. So you will have for your block 2 rectangles, 2 half square triangles, I'm sorry if you can hear my phone dinging in the
Do
background.
you know what? That was a message from SJ saying that all of the bolt ends are now loaded. So if there was anything that you saw on the show that we've already shown you today, they are now up and live. So if you want them, you need to get them now before they sell out.
So we're now going to attach our half square triangle to our rectangle. You want the opposite colour to your rectangle against the edge of your rectangle, and you want the seam running from the bottom left to the top right. So basically that triangle towards your rectangle.
Now
And again, you can, this is another chain piecing opportunity. You can get all of these chain pieced.
Jane, something else to let everybody know, the free half meters of fabric are back.
Cool.
So
Have we
if
run
you're
out of
spending
mystery gifts?
No, just if you're spending over £50, then you can add that free half metre of fabric. This is only going to be for a limited period of time.
Yeah. I think they were very popular, the free half metre, because it's nice to have a half metre of fabric in your stash is a really useful piece of fabric to have.
And also, sometimes it's fabric that you wouldn't have picked for yourself.
Yeah.
And it might make a great gift for someone, or a charity thing, or, yeah.
Yeah, all sorts. Or it might be a fabric that you thought, oh, I hadn't thought of using something like that. That's rather lovely.
Or a designer you've not encountered before.
Yeah, absolutely. There we go.
Just bear in mind when they are gone, they are gone.
There we go. So we've got those, and again we're going to press, if we could go to the overhead, we're going to press those with the dark colour, so underneath. So with this one, with the light colour rectangle, I'm pressing the seam so it goes underneath the half square triangle, because that's where the dark fabric is. It's not so obvious on this pattern and this one, but with the, particularly with the white and the pink, you really don't want your pink seam to be showing through the white. So it really is important to press to the dark side, the pink side with that one. So on this one, I'm pressing on the rectangle side, and the seam sits underneath the rectangle with the dark. And then we place our rectangles. They're exactly the same orientation. But what we do with the third row is we just turn it around 180 degrees, and so then the triangle is facing on the right hand side and this one's on the left.
So Patricia wants to know, as a patchwork newbie, Jane,
Yes.
would this pattern be easy enough to turn into a table runner?
Yes.
Okay.
You've got your blocks, so you can do them in pairs, make it long and thin, or even in threes. What you can do, you see, you'll make all your blocks and then you'll have really good fun. You'll make all your blocks and you'll have really good fun playing with them, changing the orientation, and having, that's one of the best bits.
Because when you look at it up there,
Yes.
I can see two different styles of cushions.
Yes.
One where the Irish chains go outwards and across,
Yeah.
and one where they sort of surround across in the middle.
Yeah.
Can you see what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, you've got lots of variations. And once I've got these blocks made, we'll have a play with different orientations of the block, make different patterns. So then it's a case of, and we're lining up the seams here, and because we've pressed the seams to the dark side, we can nestle that half triangle seam with the middle square on there. You want the point of your triangle against your square. So if you've got it that way round, you've designed a different block. And that's fine, because we're all for, you know, making it your own. But it might not be what you wanted to do. And again, you could chain piece all of your blocks. You could chain piece all the first row on, press those, and then chain piece the last bit on. So your blocks will come together. I mean, I know I've done all the cutting beforehand, but you can see how quickly these blocks come together.
If you have something like a stick on a little ruler, you're going to be able to
Oh
cut.
gosh, you'll whiz through it. And if you're feeling confident, if you're a confident sewer, you could lay your two fabrics, so your light and your dark fabric, on top of each other and cut them the same way. Because apart from the binding, all the cutting is exactly the same.
Oh, no. So you can go twos up on the cutting.
Yeah.
Nice.
So again, you really can make this a really quick make. You can take your time and enjoy the process and make it last forever if you want to. But if you've got a quick quilt that you want to get made for a baby shower or a gift for somebody that you know, this will do in a weekend.
Actually, do you know what? That's a very good point. This would make such a lovely gift for a newborn.
Wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It's a lovely mat to play on. Lovely size.
And also, if you know what colour their nursery is or anything like that, you
Yeah.
can really...
You could have fun mixing it up. You could make the middle block in a different fabric and make it into sort of like an I Spy quilt. So you could have a different... We've just, you know... You start, once you've made this block, you'll start looking at it and you'll be like, oh, I could do this, and I could change that, and I could do this. It's one of those blocks that really is versatile. I called it Sweet Sensation because I think the block looks like a wrapped sweet.
It does. It really does.
It may have a traditional name, I don't know. But I called it that because I thought it looks like wrap sweeties.
And I can't remember because I used it on my big cave quilt.
Yeah.
And I can't remember for the life of me which one it was. Oh, that's going to really bug me now. But I only did one, so I never got these patterns.
Yes. And this is what happens sometimes. You'll make one block because it looks nice within a pattern of a quilt. But then you'll look at it, and if you turn it round and add it to another block of the same, it's these secondary patterns that start to form, which are really interesting. So there we go. That's how quickly those blocks go together. Now, on mine, I've taken a dark block and a light block, and I've rotated the light block so that the two triangles are together at the bottom. And I've sewn those together to make pairs, and I did that with all of them. Then I sewed 2 pairs together to make the row. So we'd have that one and that one. And I did that with so I got 5 rows the same. But then the second row is this block, but turned around. So you just literally turn the block round. So you would have, made loads of blocks here, look. You would have your darks against your light. This gives you your alternate setting.
Wendy would like to know, Jane, if you are layering the material for cutting, do you have to put them right sides together?
No, you could just cut them all the same because it's rectangles and squares, so you've got no sort of orientation of. We've deliberately chosen fabrics that don't have any sort of like directional. So you'll make 2 rows like that, 2 sets of 2 rows. You'll join those together, and then you add your 5th row on, which is the quilt behind me.
Oh, hang on.
So you can see those 2 rows are the same as those 2 rows, and then that's the extra row. It's just making sure that you've got the alternate light and dark, and that creates that pattern. Now, as Natasha said, you start to see different blocks. So like the 4 there make almost like a star shape. Are we able to go overhead, Tash?
Yes.
That makes almost like a star shape.
Yeah.
And that's just with the blocks, because I think the pattern forms like what you would consider a diagonal line. So that is them with them all facing outwards.
Now, what happens if because you could do alternate entire dark squares.
Yes, you could. You could have them all facing the same way, and then you'd get like a stripy effect.
Oh, lovely. Oh, I rather like that.
Which would look lovely. And they can be either direction. That doesn't matter. Obviously, if you've got them facing inwards, they form like a cross. You could put a set of 4 dark ones in the middle of your quilt. Either that way or going outwards.
Well, and then you get something interesting in the middle then, don't you?
Yeah, and then you can create, with your border, if you have them in the V shape, like so, and then you turn the corner ones the opposite way, look what happens in the corners.
Oh, it almost crowns them.
Yeah, and if you turn the middle one around, so you could do this, you see, you could have all the same colour in the middle and then a border of.
Oh, Jane, I like that.
That's another pattern you can do. And again, it could be vice versa. You could have the light in the middle with the dark on the outside. This is what I say. It's worth making all your blocks, laying them out on your bed or your table, and just having a play with the orientation to see what you can create. Because there's lots of potential, as they say. Yeah. So there you go. That's today's block.
Oh, Jane,
Just like
thank you
that.
so much.
Whiz! Woof!
I'm going to reiterate, all those bolt ends are now loaded.
Wonderful.
They are up. They are good to go. When they're gone, they're gone. The fabrics that we've got in they're 2 metre bundles, they're a metre of each.
Yes.
They are at an incredible price of just $24.99. Every single one of them.
Amazing.
Every single one of them. So they are worth grabbing hold of. If you wanted any of the velvets from yesterday, you are going to have to be quick because they are going fast.
You could scale this block up. Just saying. Make it out of velvet. It's a 9-patch block, so it has to be divisible by 3. So you can make it any size, as long as it's divisible by 3. Just, you know.
Can you, hang on. Patchworking with velvet.
Yes. Why not?
Oh, you decadent thing, you.
You could make a beautiful floor cushion, couldn't you?
Oh.
Goes with your curtains.
Or recover a footstool.
Yes, absolutely. If you didn't want to do, you know, you could just do squares of velvet, couldn't you? Nice chunky squares.
They would go with my handbags.
Yes,
My
absolutely.
many handbags.
Some of these might be just, you know, walking off the set.
Yeah,
I love this
right.
one. There was a lady that asked this morning what this pattern was. Is it a pattern yet, or is it one to be creative? The bag pattern.
So I had misunderstood. I answered saying that it was the botanical floral pattern. I didn't realise she meant as in...
What bag pattern is it?
For the members, for the Natasha Makes design members,
Yes.
I was going to put the template up, and I will put the template up
Right.
for them. For anybody else, I can create one.
Yeah,
It's easily done. Yeah.
yeah. It's
A
lovely.
bit pretty, isn't it?
It's gorgeous. And this handle, I love this handle.
It's gorgeous, isn't it?
It's a lovely,
Do
roomy
you want
bag.
to show everyone what's inside?
Well, yes. Look at that.
Pink velvet.
Nice cerise velvet. It's a nice bag, actually. It's a nice roomy bag. Yeah. It's lovely. I love these handles because they've got the opportunity to put chains on if you want to.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
if
you've got
you
the
want it crossbody.
Yeah, you've got the little hooks there to put bag chains on should you wish. Gorgeous.
Nice.
It's just so pretty. I love the Morris fabrics as well. They're really pretty fabrics, pretty colourways.
They work.
They'd look nice in these.
Yeah, they would, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
We've got a few half-metre heavens left of those.
Oh, right, yeah.
So you'd need 2,
Yes, you would. Yeah.
or you're just making a cushion.
Yeah. If you only have a half metre, you'd only get sort of 6 blocks from it. So,
Which
yeah.
is workable.
Yeah.
So grab yourself your pattern and yeah, enjoy and have fun with it. And we will see you tomorrow. We've got lots of kits tomorrow.
Nice.
All sorts of...
Were those the ones you were working on yesterday?
Yeah.
Oh. There's some nice kits tomorrow.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah. I had Owen, so as we've been tidying up the warehouse, every time there's a random fat quarter of something left or whatever, we've slung it in a box.
Yeah,
Anyway.
yeah.
And I finally got to go through it and go, oh right, so I've got 1s or 2s of things that we've put with gorgeous coloured purse frames.
Really pretty.
Yeah,
Really nice.
yeah. But maybe I'll do that pattern for tomorrow then.
Mm.
Because you know what else that would work with? That's the square handle frame.
Oh, yes, yeah.
So that would give a variation for that bag as well.
Yeah, nice.
I'm just very aware that we did something similar last week.
Yeah, but it's a different shape, isn't it? I think
It is a different shape.
the shape of this, particularly with the velvet, just there's something about it, isn't there? It's a nice shape.
I'm hoping we'll have brand new cave to show you tomorrow.
Oh, gosh, yes.
That's my big hope.
Yes.
I'm just having to work on a contingency if it doesn't arrive today. Right, you lovely people, have a fabulous rest of your day. We will see you tomorrow. Jane and I are going to go and get cutting because there's a bit of velvet needs cutting. Jane.
Yes, there is. It's a
Yes.
two-person job.
Yes, yes. Thank you ever so much for watching. Thank you, Jane, for another fabulous demo.
You're very
We will
welcome.
see you all tomorrow. Take care. Lots of love.
Bye-bye.
Bye.